Article 6. Consummated, frustrated, and attempted felonies. Alright, so it's getting more hot, right? It's getting more intense on the subject matter. So Article 6. Consummated, frustrated, and attempted felonies. Consummated felonies, as well as those which are frustrated and attempted, are punishable. A felony is consummated when all the elements necessary for its execution and accomplishment are present, and it is frustrated when the offender performs all the acts of execution which would produce the felony as a consequence, but which, nevertheless, do not produce it by reason of causes independent of the will of the perpetrator. And there is an attempt when the offender commences the commission of the felony directly or overacts and does not perform all the acts of execution which should produce the felony by reason of some cause or accident other than this or his own spontaneous desistance. Alright. So, on that one, it's specified on the consummated, frustrated, and attempted felonies. Now, for felonies that are consummated, basically it's very easy. All the elements necessary for the execution and the accomplishments are present. So basically, when you wanted to kill the person is dead. So that's consummated felonies. Now, for frustrated felonies, the offender performs all the acts necessary which would produce the felony as a consequence, but which, nevertheless, did not produce it by reason of causes independent of the will of the perpetrator. So, the act, you wanted to kill the person, you shot the person was shot. Let's say the person was shot on the lungs. You thought that the person is already dead, so you walked away. Now, the thought here is do not produce it by reason of causes independent of the will of the perpetrator. So what happened was after all the acts of the felony was done, there was an intervention of medics or skilled personnel, and because of their intervention, the person was healed or was cured or did not produce any acts that can hurt the person, or any acts that all the acts that would constitute, or all the acts do not produce it because there was other events that did not produce the consumption or the consummation of the act. And there is an attempt when the offender commences the commission of a felony directly by overt acts and does not produce or perform all the acts necessary for its execution, which should produce the felony by reason of some cause or accident other than his own spontaneous desistance. Now, for this one, the offender commences the crime, but there were other causes, or there are some causes or accident other than the spontaneous desistance of the offender. Now, what are the developments of a crime? Well, there are internal acts and external acts. Internal acts are mere idea in the mind of the person, which are not punishable even if had they been carried out. So it's just like a thought. Number two, there are external acts. There are two types of external acts: the preparatory act and the acts of execution. Now, preparatory acts are proposal and conspiracy to commit a felony. Now, for this one, for the preparatory acts, although they are not punishable by law, but there are other exemptions which or the exceptions for proposal and conspiracy would be tackled on Article 8 of the Revised Penal Code, which we'll be talking in our next videos. And acts of execution. So there are 3 stages: the attempt, the frustration, or basically there are 3 stages: the attempt, the frustrated, and the consummated felonies. Now, for external acts, it must be related to the overt act of the crime the offender intends to commit. So, the external acts must be related to the overt act of the crime of the offender intended to commit. Now, what is an overt act? Now, an overt act is a physical activity or deed indicating the intention to commit a particular crime more than a mere planning. It's more than a mere planning or preparation, which is carried out to complete termination following its natural course. So basically it finishes everything. It's an overt act. So there you go. So that's Article 6 of the Revised Penal Code. On the next part we'll be talking of Article 7 and Article 8 in 1, so that it'll be faster for us. Alright? So thank you for listening. Hope you listen back again.